Move, move, move! Get away! Get back! Is this a test?
Nerdrotic.com.
If you've ever worked for a giant corporation before, you might remember this. Sometimes prior to layoffs, they'll bring groups of people in to write down a job description to justify their existence. Well, the Access Media has been doing this during the beer bug, and I think one thing is absolutely clear. They have outlived their usefulness, and it's time for the Access Media to end. This brings us to the dumbest article I have read recently, but there have been a lot of them in the last couple of weeks, for sure. Steve Rogers wasn't a hero for becoming Captain America. He was selfish. Not that the Access Media needs any help humiliating themselves. If you could please consider subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing this video, I'm sure that would rub some salt in their wounds. Now, the saddest part about this story is Caleb, the author of this article, probably got $50 for it, and he was overpaid. And there's some genius editor at CBR who actually thought it was a good idea to come out with an article like this, attacking Captain America on Memorial Day. While he's Marvel's golden boy, Steve Rogers deciding to be Captain America was based on his own selfish desires. This, quite frankly, spoilers, is an attack on masculinity. Now, the main reason this article was written is so I would make a video on it, and Jeremy would make a video on it, and you would tweet about it. I don't think the motivations are genuine behind this article. I don't even think that Caleb could be this dumb, but let's take a look. Captain America is one of the most important characters in Marvel history, and without him, many of the great stories of the Marvel Universe would not happen or wouldn't be the same. He is central to the entire framework of Marvel storytelling, and Captain America is emblematic of justice, honesty, perseverance, making him the ultimate culmination of the American ideal. However, the decision for Steve Rogers to become Captain America is inherently selfish. Yes, Captain America was selfish for being selfless and wanting to go die for his country, this fictional character. But this is the logic of the Access Media. Steve was rejected from the military due to his small stature and health issues. But then his life changes when he is invited to join the Super Soldier program, which he earned through his behavior, being selfless, like I said before, being inspirational, being honorable, being trustworthy. Something the Access Media wouldn't know anything about. However, when removing the context of what he would become, the decision is selfless. Rather than contribute in the ways best suited to him, which would be what? Since he was frail and sickly, he couldn't really contribute that much. But as a super soldier, he would save lots of lives. Steve chooses to go under experimental treatments, which could have killed him, to artificially enhance himself. Steve's choice to become Captain America is rooted in a fetishization. So Captain America's selflessness is a fetish. Only the Access Media would come up with something like this. They do tend to sexualize everything. Projection? You decide in the comments. Of the hyper-masculine, or in other words, just masculine. Remember, masculinity is toxic masculinity, rather than an innate desire to do good for his country. Somehow, the Access Media is able to get into the head of a fictional character and decipher that fictional character's motivations. More than just a soldier. This is a bold claim against America's golden boy, yet the context matters. Really? You keep talking about context. What context are you speaking of? Steve is initially someone unfit to serve on the front lines. It is tough and hurtful, but it is the reality of his situation. If his concern was truly about how he could best serve his country, he would accept his situation in life and make the most of it. Okay, based on your Access Media logic, a man or a woman in a wheelchair is offered a surgery that would allow them to walk again. They should just accept their lot in life, because to want to walk again would be selfish and make other differently abled people feel bad. I'm not even sure what the selfishness is you're talking about. And this is where he goes straight up Karen. He could have tried to become a merchant marine or gone to a vocational school, because wanting to be better when you are differently abled will make the other differently abled people feel bad. What's this article really about? Masculinity, America, war, Memorial Day, or Captain America? I'll let you guys answer it in the comment section. Train as an officer or stay at home and help with the production of wartime materials. Again, to do those things, you need to be healthy and not feeble. All of these could have contributed to the war like Steve supposedly wants to do, but that isn't good enough. Steve, in his eyes, has to be on the front lines. The underlying theme of this article is toxic masculinity is bad, and he is using Captain America to make this point, conflating blind ambition with things like drive, determination, goal orientation, or just plain self-improvement, which science proves leads to a healthier self-esteem, which leads to an inner peace, which leads to healthier relationships and a healthier life. Something the Access media wouldn't know a damn thing about. It's understandable for a young man to want to prove himself to his peers and country, yet even if deep down his intentions are altruistic, the steps he takes to pursue these intentions are selfish. In Steve's mind, there is only one way to contribute to the war, and that just happens to be the way he wants to contribute. One thing that's always boggled everyone's mind about Hollywood, entertainment, the BBC, the Access media, and the mainstream media is how they can be so obnoxiously ungrateful about a country that allows them to be obnoxiously ungrateful. Now, Caleb brings up selfish 11 times in this article and altruistic or altruism 4 times. Let's go to the definition. Altruistic, showing a disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. Unselfish. So Captain America's unselfishness is extremely selfish. Altruism's ugly side. Captain America is known for his altruism and his willingness to sacrifice everything for what he believes to be right. Yet there is something selfish within that because Cap's altruism is in what he believes and nothing else. Cap will fight against anyone who opposes his worldview, including his friends. Just look at the catastrophic violence that breaks out in the Civil War comic arc as well as the accompanying film. These events happen because Cap is uncompromising and nothing will shake his worldview. In the film, I would call it principled. In the comic, I would call it out of character. Yes, I will make the argument to this day. That's why you can't conflate the movie Cap with the comic Cap. Comic Cap was completely out of character in Civil War. That is because of Mark Millar. That is because of Mark Millar's dystopian postmodern view on some characters. I do like the writer quite a bit, but I don't like all of his takes on Marvel characters. The requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences, Cap says in the Amazing Spider-Man Civil War, story by J. Michael Straczynski and art by Ron Garney. Love Ron Garney in the comics, and I mostly love JMS except for particular Spider-Man One More Day comics and Civil War comics. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. This quote would also be adapted in the film with Sharon Carter saying it, and inspiring Cap to stand his ground in regards to the Sokovia Accords. And here we get to the crux of his argument. Toxic masculinity. The quote also highlights Cap's tendency to respond to things with violence. In fact, Cap is an impulsive person, and his first response to opposition is to beat it down. These aggressive impulses are hidden beneath a veneer of tough American grit and freedom fighting. So Cap now is just an unhinged, violent psychopath. Thank you. So after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paragraphs of telling us that Captain America is selfish, Caleb decides to get cute, flip the script and tell us that Captain America is indeed selfish, but it's an endearing quality that makes him more human as a character. So we're going to skip those paragraphs, except for this one point. Psychoanalyzing a comic book character may seem a little trite. It is, and pompous, and pretentious, and I bet Captain America was being selfish when he was a werewolf. He sums it up with this. It also helps readers and moviegoers better understand Steve Rogers in and out of the Captain America uniform. As a character, it is easy to write him off as an archetype of American machismo, but when fans try to understand why he makes the choices he does, he becomes that much more complex. Being a hero isn't a black and white issue, really, Caleb. And seeing Cap overcome selfish impulses for the greater good is far more rewarding than watching him be a do-gooder all the time. After the comic industry Hollywood and the BBC have systematically, deliberately deconstructed the hero for so long, I'm sure it's very hard for Caleb and his comrades to understand why people still want a hero. And we need that reconstructed some way, somehow. And it might be happening in the independent sphere of comic books, and hopefully that eventually rises up to other entertainment, but that's going to take a while. Now, I would like to express something that Caleb cannot: gratitude. I am thankful that every time Caleb and his fellow idiots in the Access Media write an article like this, I get more friends here on YouTube. And I'd also like to express my gratitude towards everyone who has laid down their life for this country to allow me and Caleb to debate silly things on the internet. CBR felt so strongly about this article that after they tweeted it out, they had to remove it because it got ratioed to hell. Deservedly so. Now, I said earlier that Caleb and I are debating silly things on the internet, which we are, but there is a bigger picture here. The Access Media has lost the trust of the fandom because they stopped serving the fandom. They started becoming a tool for the corporations and a tool for the creatives in Hollywood. They might get an interview with Chris Evans, but he's going to forget them in 5 minutes. Chris Evans does not go to CBR. Chris Evans does not click on the ads for CBR. You, the fans, do. And that's why you have come over here, because here you do have a voice. And I want to end this with another article about another subject. This is about Release the Snyder Cut, which was a victory for fandom. And this comes from Collider, and it tells you everything you need to know about the Access Media. Again, this is about Release the Snyder Cut, but it's also about the bigger picture. Fandom versus the Access Media. For as long as the movement has raged, Warner Brothers has done the right thing and simply ignored them. You, the fan, the paying customer. The internet already gave them a voice when they shouldn't have had one. And who gets to decide that? Collider? CBR? Bullshit. Yesterday, the studio gave them something they never expected but always craved. Legitimacy. You've always craved legitimacy? Let me tell you, you have always been legitimate. You do not need validation from a studio or anybody from the Access Media or a YouTuber. You will always be the thing that drives pop culture. Don't ever let them forget about that. So CBR thought it was a good idea to troll the fandom, attack Captain America, and disrespect veterans on Memorial Day, which they have every right to do. Is this a great country or what? Now, you might have noticed that I'm wearing a different shirt, my Captain America shirt. Well, there's a reason for this. We have a little bit of breaking news right at the end of the video. If you go back to the website, you might notice, boom, the article is gone. The fans win again. And as far as CBR is concerned, them taking one post down is a good start. Once I see this for the whole site, I'll be a happy man. Until next time, F the Access Media. Have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.